morning, everybody. Johnny Beagle here, located right now in Rawlins, Wyoming. Today is Wednesday, December 10th, 2014. Local time here is 9:14 a.m. Temperature is at 34 degrees, according to Blue. Oh, unfortunately, we only have 7 hours and 33 minutes available to drive today. And even worse, we only pick up 1 hour and 56 minutes after tonight at midnight. So that means it's going to be an easy day for a couple of days. The worst news is we're still 1,023 miles to Monroe, Wisconsin. Well, we'll get it there when we get it there, right? Anyway, guess who called me this morning? Eric Smith has called me, and he has agreed to participate on our very important discussion for today, which is the relationship between truckers and law enforcement. And I'm kind of curious myself. I'm quite excited about it. So without further ado, how about we give him a call and see if he's available. There we go. I just hope Sprint will hold out.
Good morning.
Morning, Eric. Greetings from Rawlins, Wyoming.
Aha!
Just to let you know, you're on the air, so to say.
Okay.
You're on YouTube, so say hello to everybody, and so go ahead.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? I'm from just south of Cincinnati.
South of Cincinnati. Wow. You're one of those real proud Kentuckians, people down there, right? I mean, you guys take pride on. I've noticed about Kentucky. You guys are proud about your heritage and all that.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. It's a very diverse state. Very diverse. I'm from Kentucky. I can literally see Cincinnati from where I'm at, sitting right now, actually. But you get down in the Appalachian Mountains, and it's coal mining area and stuff like that. So it's a very diverse state.
Yeah. So, Eric, tell everybody about your background. I've never actually talked to you before. I mean, you've been a follower of mine for about a year or so, and Facebook friends, but this is our first time to chat. So, I'm kind of curious and excited about this, meeting you on the phone and all that good stuff.
Okay, I grew up in the trucking industry. My father was a heavy truck mechanic, and other family members owned trucking companies and stuff. When I got to be old enough to be an adult, I actually became an auto technician for Ford Motor Company, specializing in electronics and stuff. About 2000, I decided I didn't have a retirement, so I actually went into police work. Have been doing that full time for 14 years.
Wow, that's a big leap.
Yeah, I'm on the downhill stretch. I've got just a few more years and I can actually retire, which is kind of scary.
Yeah.
But I also married into a towing family. My wife's family owned a towing service, and I get to drive trucks in that aspect. So I've been around the law enforcement, and I've been around the trucking all my life.
So you're in both worlds, right?
Yes.
Have you ever been on over the road, or have you ever driven?
Yeah, when I was a young man, a little bitty boy, my mother and father divorced, and Mom married a truck driver. And not in any situation where it was a truck driver who worked with my dad or nothing like that. Just Mom remarried and found a truck driver. And every day or every summer when school was let out, I would go get on a truck and ride with them most of the summer. So I got to sail across the country in the trucks quite a bit.
I see. So, being a tow truck driver, do you have your Class A license?
I do not have my Class A.
Okay.
I do not have my Class A.
Do you drive one of those big wreckers or just car wreckers, or?
I will drive the cars and the medium duties. The way the wreckers work is you need a commercial vehicle medical card, which is anything over 10,001 pound gross vehicle weight used as interstate commerce. You have to have a physical and carry the medical card, which I know you're aware of.
Okay.
Okay, so the tow truck is required to have the medical card, and whatever you're towing is over 10,001 pounds gross vehicle weight and used in commerce. Then you add those two gross vehicle weights. And if it takes you over the threshold for a CDL, then you got to have a CDL. So, for instance, if you're towing, I can tow a car behind a 25,000 pound gross vehicle weight wrecker all day long, and I don't need a CDL.
Okay.
If I put say there's a box truck with a 15,000 pound gross vehicle weight, you add the two together, puts you at 40,000 pounds, you better have a Class A.
I see.
That's how that works in the towing industry.
Now, how often do you get to drive your towing second job after your patrolling and all that stuff?
It mostly depends on what my father-in-law's got going on. If he's got a long-distance run, he will ask me to make a long-distance run. For instance, last Monday, I took the big rollback down to Bowling Green from just south of Cincinnati. It was right at 220 miles one way, and I haven't been back in one of the trucks since. So it's been a week and a day. So it just varies. It just varies.
No, Eric, what kind of law enforcement are you in? I mean, are you a state trooper?
No, I am not. I can't. I know you're going to record this, or we're recording, and I can't put on it exactly where I work because of our policies, but I can tell you I work for a county police agency, and I do mean county police. Kentucky has about 6 counties that have county police and county sheriff's department.
I see.
Our sheriff's department does nothing but prisoner transports and courtroom security and serves some civil papers. We do all the law enforcement, patrol, and criminal investigation side of the police work in the unincorporated area of the county.
Okay. So how much in your line of work, I mean, are you able to tell me, I mean, what I'm trying to get at is, I'm trying to get your law enforcement perspective to how you deal with truckers and our logbooks and all that stuff. I mean, is that something that you can talk about?
Yes. And so everybody knows Kentucky adopted the federal commercial vehicle transportation laws and regulations in their Kentucky statute. And what that means is any level of law enforcement officer in Kentucky can act on any kind of a needed fine or charge violation that a commercial vehicle has. That doesn't mean everybody does it. There's some that do. I will, depending on what's going on, I will act on it. I will do some minor inspections. I'll look at logbooks, look for infractions and things like that. And to be honest, what I look for most of the time is I use myself. I look for drug interdiction. I look for, because of us being where we are, we know there's high volume of loads of illegal contraband, money, drugs, illegal aliens, and things like that are being transported through our area. And we look at different things for indicators of that kind of illegal activity.
Oh, I see.
And what we're starting to see an influx of now too, since the economy crashed in 2008, we're seeing a lot of I guess some of the more reputable truck drivers and trucking companies kind of had to close their doors because the fuel prices went through the roof and the economy went through it. So we have seen an influx of quality of professional truck drivers, if you will. And I have had them go down one lane, go past, and turn their trucks over and say, well, I was following my GPS. And to me, I'm dumbfounded because follow your GPS, if you will, but sooner or later you have to realize my truck doesn't fit.
Yeah, I've noticed that myself. And I've actually had a $500 experience over there in Los Angeles area.
Did you?
Yeah, it brought me right there in the neighborhood. And the motorcycle cop that issued me the ticket, I swear he looked exactly like the Terminator cop with the silver shades, and he even had a machine gun on his motorcycle, a BMW motorcycle, and he had a machine gun that's kind of you can fold it, and if you don't look too closely, you can't tell it was a firearm. But I looked at it like second time, I said, is that what I think it is? They say, yep. I mean, these guys over there are ready for anything. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that was a fully automatic. I don't know what it was, but it looked like I don't know. It was a machine gun kind of looking thing. But so Eric, anyway, what kind of problems, most problems, do you notice with truck drivers? And as a truck driver myself, I've always been curious about your side of the point. I mean, there seemed to be a really big distance between the relationship of truckers and police, and it seems like on the CB, everybody talks about how mean you guys are and how unfair, and there seemed to be a distant and somewhat of a, I don't know what the word is, but it's not a good relationship, I guess.
Yeah, I know where you're going. It's kind of been this persona of it. Truckers against the cops and the cops against the truckers.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, it's in the movies and everything, and I think it is that way in places, and some officers find it might be. I will say this much: honesty goes a long way, and I don't care what you're doing. If I stop you and make comments and you don't like me, there's something about pinning the badge on. Everybody feels the need to lie. And the longer you do this, to let it bother you, you just assume everybody's dirty, if you will. They are doing something bad wrong, and they may not be. Sometimes a speeder is just a speeder, and people feel the need to lie. And honesty goes a long way. And I'll give you a prime example. I was working a highway safety grant the other day. Stopped the guy for speeding. I only stopped him for 10 over. I just wanted to stop him and see if there was anything else wrong. Was he running drugs? Was he drunk? Did he have a warrant? Was something along those lines? Stopped him for 10 over. Like I said, walked up and said, the reason I stopped you was because you were running 65 or 55. Do you have any other justification for that? He said, no, I didn't realize how fast I was going. I set my cruise, and I wasn't paying attention. And I looked at his dashboard, and these new cars all say what the speed was set at the cruise control, and his dashboard said he had set his speed at 65. So I pointed it out to him clearly that, hey, you like me. So it's not just truck drivers, it's everybody. But I think willingness and honesty goes a long way, and that's my biggest thing. Just tell me.
So it seems like nothing brings the worst out of you guys than a wrong attitude, right? I mean, it's excuses and attitude, and and being a smart ass and
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and I'm probably a little bit more liberal, especially with the truck drivers. When it's nighttime, one of our highways is Route 9. It's rolling hills all the way through our county, and from Ashland to almost to Cincinnati. It's nothing but rolling hills. And at nighttime, I let the truck drivers roll. I grew up with them. I grew up with the old tow truck. So I know what it's like to try to pull a hill. And when I see one rolling at night, and there's no traffic out. If they're rolling at 10 or 11, pulled over, so be it. But now when there's traffic out, stop like you guys can.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
I'm a little bit more liberal than most people, probably, when it comes to the trucking industry.
That's got to be, I don't know, some kind of a little different in your perspective, because you're in both worlds and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and I guess I feel for some of them. I stopped an old cab over Freightliner one time. It was about a year ago, and I'll never forget. He was running 82 miles an hour at 55 with a flatbed. Where are you going? I started this load. I don't remember exactly where he started it, but it was somewhere down in North Carolina. He was going to Chicago. And I was getting ready to write him a ticket. And I said, "You own a truck, correct?" "Yeah." "How much money are you making on this load?" And he told me he was making $500. Now, that's just what the load paid. That's not fuel and processing and stuff like that. And I didn't have the heart in me to write him a ticket for $200, $225, $250, whatever it is, for the speed infraction. I had to take it off the profit away. So that's just me being the liberal cop because of growing up with trucks. Now, if he would have been a jerk, you know, I probably would have wrote him. But I also know if you hand me a CDL, chances are you make a living with that CDL. And I don't want to take a guy's living away from me. You know what I mean?
I've always explained this to my wife. I said, you know, if you guys lose your license, you still have a way to go to work. If I lose my license, that's it. I'm done, you know. So,
right.
My wife actually drives faster than I do in a car. Yeah. So.
And you know, my wife tells me I drive like a grandpa.
Yep. Everybody in my family does. I'm a sore loser when it comes to ticket. I can't. It takes me at least 2 weeks to let it go and forget about it. And for the meantime, it feels like a squeaky wheel. It's just on and on and on and on. Like, oh, come on, give me a break. Just, I wish I could erase it in my memory. So that's one of the biggest reasons that I drive 60 miles an hour by choice, and you know, I can't deal with tickets. It's just and now, you know, what the CSA score, I mean, geez.
Right. And you know, that deal with you with your driver's license, that bothered me. I'm no kidding, son. I don't lie. That bothered me that went down that way, because that makes law enforcement look bad. That makes the CSA system look bad. And that's not what it was incorporated for. You know, that was incorporated to wean out the bad drivers, the drivers that shouldn't be on the road working. And the fact that went down that way, you got a warning and was cut loose, that should have never happened, that them points even showed up.
Yeah, and
so, yeah, you're not allowed to possess 2 driver's licenses, but so be it. You've got a legitimate reason, and hey, when you get home, take care of that, or I'll shred that, and there's no paper trail. If I stop a truck driver, if I don't write him a ticket, he doesn't get a written warning either. Yeah. That way there's no paper trail anywhere. Go on and have a good day. Talk to you later.
And the thing that got me with that state trooper was, were you wearing your seatbelt? Like, I don't know if she was doubtful or she was looking for me to say yes or no, or lying, but I don't know. But either way, I don't think she realized the magnitude of what she was doing. I mean, and I at the time I didn't even realize how big of a deal that was for WEL. I almost lost like $3,000 on that one on my fuel boat.
Right. And I've watched your videos, and the only time you don't have a seatbelt on is when you're backing a truck up or in a parking lot. And that's, I do that. When I drive a wrecker, when I am backing a wrecker up, I take my seatbelt off. I don't care if I've got a car on the back or a motorcycle on the back. It's much easier to see and move around in the seat because of the amount of movement you got to do. And when you said she questioned, do you have your seatbelt on, I can promise you this. If I stopped you, I want to tell you what I stopped you for, and there's no doubt in my mind that you were doing. That's the way I operate, and that's the way most of the guys that I work with operate. I have a training officer, so I train most of our department, so they work kind of like I do in that aspect. I'm like, if you don't know, don't act on it. If you have a car speeding, if you have two cars speeding and your radar unit goes off, I should say if you've got two cars, one is speeding and your radar unit gives you the speeder and you can't tell which one it was, you'll stop either one of them.
Yeah.
That's the way I operate, and that's the way I think all law enforcement should operate. Now, I don't care what profession you're in, you're going to have good, you're going to have bad.
Yep.
And that's what that whole situation happened with you. I really thought it.
Yeah. Well, she looked like a really young lady, so I know she wasn't in for that long, so, but, I always look at it, Eric, as in, it's not the people in front of me that controls the situation. It's my Lord and my Savior, Jesus Christ, that put me in that particular issue so I can deal with it in my own heart. I can't control the people's action, but I can control mine. And sometimes, well, the way I look at it is it's God's way of exercising our patient muscle or whatever issues that we need to deal with. And then, that's the way I look at things. I'm a firm believer that God is sovereign of all things, of all issues, and He puts us there. He even puts us in good people or in bad people, and just to see what we react and how we react, and what we learn from it. And that's the way I look at it. So.
And growing up, I can remember my dad even saying, Dad would say, God might put you in that position right then and there at that time, and that situation went down the way it did to protect you, to keep you from being down the road 10 miles at a particular time to avoid something more serious.
Eric, you're a little bit muffled. You're a little bit muffled. You were cleared a little bit ago. Are you talking on your phone directly on your mouth or what?
Yeah. Is it any better now?
A little bit. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. And growing up, my dad would say, hey, it's probably God's will to protect you. He puts you in that situation right there to keep you from being down the highway, 10 miles down the highway at a particular time to avoid something more serious.
Yep. Like, for example, or, either we break down, or even sometimes when I get lost, like, I'm losing time here, Lord. What am I doing? And you come to think about it. Hey, maybe there's an accident up ahead. And right. One prime example was back in the Philippines. My brother and I, we were going to the island, and we both agreed that we were going to meet up at the bus stop at a certain time. And so, I said goodbye to my girlfriend at that time, but she didn't want me to go. She told me to take the next bus and all that stuff. So I did, and all the time I thought, well, my brother can just go ahead and I'll meet him in the island. All the while, in his point of view or in his side, it was the same thing. His friend said, no, well, you just catch the next bus and all that stuff. So anyway, I did not know at the time that him and I were taking different buses, a different schedule. And about 100 miles down the road, the bus that my brother and we were to take completely had a head-on collision, and everybody died. And I've seen the things that you guys see, carnage, and
Yes.
and I thought, wow, you know.
Yeah.
And that's something that's something I don't think it's just an accident, you know.
No, that's a blessing. Blessing in disguise is what that is. It's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, it's a sovereignty of God, that is.
Yep.
So yep. So how long I know you're a Christian, Eric. How long you been a Christian?
All my life. I was brought up in the church all my life.
Okay.
And I'm in my mid-40s.
I noticed on your Facebook that you're a gun instructor, right? You deal.
I am the guy who carries the responsibility for all the tactical errors that could ever go wrong could land right in my lap. I'm a firearms instructor. I am a taser instructor, and I'm what they call a field training officer, an FTO, which I'm the senior field training officer. All the new guys, as soon as they come in the door and they get out of the academy, they come to me, and I work with them 4 weeks at a time, me and a few other guys, and we rotate them around to teach them how to do the work on the street. And all they got to do when they get out, they look and say, well, he told me to do it that way, and then I got to defend myself. The firearms and this stuff, I mean, I really take a lot of pride and a lot of joy in it, because the stuff that I also teach is the stuff that will probably save their lives.
Yeah.
And if what I teach them saves their life, then I'm forever thankful.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of fun.
I grew up with guns myself back in the Philippines, although we're not allowed to have guns at the time. Right now, it's almost like it's the same here. But at the time that I grew up with guns because, well, even police officers carry M16s in the Philippines. And you know, we had law enforcement and police and all that stuff in our house because my dad was a pretty big on explosives, and there was always somebody there to guard the explosives and all that stuff. So, and being with friends and all that stuff. So I kind of grew up with guns, but I never really had the chance to train properly, and that's something that I'd be interested in someday.
It's a lot of work. It's a perishable skill. If you don't practice, you'll lose it.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't care if it's a long gun or a handgun, anything. It's shotgun, rifle. It's perishable skill.
Yeah. It's but it's one of those hard work that you get to enjoy, right?
Yes, I thoroughly enjoy it. I have a lot of fun with it. We've got a medium-sized department, and there's 4 of us firearms instructors, and we take guys out, and they're on the range with us for 10 hours at a time. And they get to go 2 or 3 times a year, and they shoot a lot of rounds.
And I would imagine you guys bring the famous Kentucky barbecue with you too, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we eat good when we go to the range. Now, them guys, like I say, they're with us. So there's times where they've been known to try to sweet talk the firearms instructors, and they bring the barbecues out and grill and everything else. So it's a good time.
So, Eric, any advice to young wannabe truck drivers, and you know, say whatever you want to say to upcoming or any truck drivers out there?
My biggest thing is whatever mistake you make at a young age, you might carry it with you your entire life. So no matter what you're looking to get into, don't don't misbehave and get yourself in trouble. Keep your nose clean, and hard work will get you places.
And tell the truth. Be honest, right?
Yes. Honesty goes a long, long way. It's so dumbfounding to us when somebody tells us the truth. If I walk up and tell you, you've got a flat tire, and you want to lie to me about it, we get mind blown over some of the things we're lied to about, and by all walks of life. But when I walk up and say, the reason I stopped you was you were doing 20 over, or you ran that stop sign, and you say, yeah, I was running 20 over, and here's the reason why. If you're honest, I'm probably going to cut you a break.
What was the funniest or the weirdest excuse you ever heard from a motorist?
Wow. Well, of course, everybody hears the bathroom excuse.
Oh, really?
We have heard this. Oh, I hear that at least once a week.
Is that like the number one excuse, the bathroom excuse?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. And we go back to, we get lied so much when somebody, one of these days, I'm going to hear that from somebody, and I'm going to call their bluff, and it's not going to be a bluff. They're going to have a mess in their pants. Because we get lied to so much. We hear the bathroom excuse all the time.
Hold on. Hold on. Let me erase that from my list here.
We have also been, one of the funny, it's not really funny, but it's just an ironic excuse, is I'm not from around here. Now, here's the thing to that. This is great for you. This is great to have you on the phone, because I know you've traveled at least 48 states. What do the speed limit signs look like in all 48 states in the continental U.S.? They all look the same, right?
Yeah.
So therefore, telling me you're not from around here is probably not the best answer, best reason. Especially when my next question is where did you get on this road? And I find out they've traveled this road for 60, 70, 80, 100 miles. You've passed the speed limit sign, and they're all white and black.
Yeah.
So we hear that one all the time. I'm not from around here. I didn't know what the speed limit was. And yes, that will work sometimes. But then also you got to have some sense. If you're on a city street and you're doing 65 miles an hour in a city street at the 35, it's pretty obvious that you're going to be going too fast.
A long time ago, I got to tell you this. A long time ago, I was driving my dad's van, and I got stopped by a police squad car, and there were two of them in there, and one was a rookie and the other one was training. And so this female police officer, I tell you, she couldn't have been older than 21 years old. And she was pretty. So anyway, she stopped me and she said, reason I stopped you is that your van has been reported to gone to the gas station and not paid. I said, okay. And she gave me the description. I'm not going to say it on air. And obviously I did not fit the description. And she said, who else drove this car? I said, well, my sister's boyfriend was around this weekend. And she said, well, do you know his name? I said, no, I don't know that. And she let me go. And and I said to her, you see my driver's license, I got a CDL. I've driven all 48 states. I've been stopped many, many times, but you has got to be the prettiest police officer that I ever come across with. May I have your phone number?
I can promise you I've never been told I was the prettiest police officer they've ever seen. I can promise you I've never been told that.
And she declined, but she had a big blush on her face. So, well, Eric, it's been really fun talking to you, and finally get to talk to you on the phone after all this YouTube stuff. So thank you for participating. And And enjoy the rest of your day, and have a good and godly day, Eric.
You do the same. Safe travels, Sean.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Talk to you later.
Hey, everybody. I hope you guys have enjoyed that conversation with our neighborhood police officer, Eric. And I think it was awesome and pretty sport of him to participate in our channel here. So we'll catch you guys later. Johnny B. Good here. Have a good and godly day, everybody, and enjoy this